My fellow horror friends, I'm David, this is Terrible Reviews, and if you like all things horror, make sure you hit the follow button. Today's review is going to be for The Grudge from 2004, made by Sam Raimi. Also the American remake of the Japanese movie. So, let's see if it still holds up, and get right into the review. Terrible Reviews. Okay, so it's been a while since I've seen this version of the movie. I actually recently watched the Japanese version, but I'm gonna only judge this movie on its own merits and not really compare it to the first movie. There are a few things that I like that they kept from the original, so I will comment on those, but I'm not gonna compare and contrast these too much. So, with terror, is this movie scary? I'd have to say so. This has a lot of scary scenes and a lot of just terrifying imagery that it shows you occasionally. So this movie is really scary, and I think that's the best thing that it has going for it. If you want just a scary movie to watch, this movie is a great one. I will give this a 4 out of 5 for terror. Now for the gore, there's not really a lot, a ton of stuff in this movie. There is some CGI, which surprisingly does hold up pretty well. And then it's just a lot of visual horror, not really any practical effects or anything like that, other than one certain thing that you'll see towards the end of the movie. So for this one, it's really kind of hard to judge because there isn't, like I said, a lot of effects used in this one. But I will go ahead and give it a 3 out of 5 just because the CG for one of the ghosts is pretty decent and does hold up, at least in my eyes. It's still really creepy to me. So I'll give it that, even though it doesn't really give us a ton in this movie. Now, onto the story. For a Sam Raimi horror movie, it really fell flat for me. I didn't really like the time travel aspects of it. Or not really time travel, but it jumping between time in the movie. It didn't really work that well, and it didn't really make the story flow correctly. I see what they were going for, but the way that they laid it out didn't really work for me. Mostly with it ending with that jump scare and then going immediately to the past is kind of jarring and took me out of the movie a little bit. But overall, the overarching backstory to why things are happening is still decent and is still kind of carried over from the original. And I do like that they kept it set in Japan. I don't think that this one would have worked in America. I think it would have fell victim to a lot of what The Ring did, as far as it not really making too much sense. But I really enjoyed that, but I think the story could have been a lot better. Now, the acting was decent. Everyone did a pretty decent job, but it wasn't the greatest. The best parts in this movie were honestly anything involving the ghosts or any of the scary parts of this movie. If you're going for a really strong story, a really compelling story, this is not going to be the movie for you. So I will give this one a 3 out of 5 for story. And then lastly, is this movie fun? If you want to be scared, you're going to have a great time with this movie. It does a great job with these scares. There are a lot of jump scares and stuff like that, but I think they're used tastefully as opposed to some instances in other movies. So I will give this one a 4 out of 5 for fun. Only watch this one if you want a scary movie. If you want something thought-provoking or something that has a really nice story, I don't think The Grudge is going to be for you, at least the American version. So yeah. Is this terrifying or terrible? I'd have to say it's pretty terrifying. But have you guys seen The Grudge? Let me know what you thought in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next review.